There's something about this time of year when summer starts to wind down and cooler nights roll in that makes me want to nest. I want to light candles, wrap up in a blanket, cook something that makes the kitchen smell good, and just fall in love with being inside and at home after a very busy summer. If you're feeling that too, Macy's has everything you need to cozy up your space and treat yourself while you're at it. Whether you're dreaming of curling up in buttery soft hotel collection sheets, upgrading your kitchen game with all-clad cookware, or giving your space a whole new refresh, Macy's has you covered from room to room. Shop now at Macys.com or in-store.
I had the 3 C's: COVID, cancer, and closing on the biggest deal of my life. It was quite stressful. I needed to be like fearless, armored up, and nothing could get through to break me because everything was always coming at me.
Today's guest is Alicia Grande, the founder of Grande Cosmetics. Not only has she changed and upended an entire industry, she has saved my lashes many a time.
I wound up meeting a chemist who created a formula that said that it would enhance my own lashes. I had postpartum lash loss, and I knew at that moment when it actually worked, I said, this is, like Oprah would say, the aha moment for me to just go for it.
We discussed today a really pivotal moment when she had to make a shift from her career she had embarked on into what became her empire.
I quadrupled my investment that weekend. And I called my husband and I said, Frank, I literally know how I'm going to be so successful. I'm so excited. This is amazing. Everybody loved GrandeLASH.
We talk about nature versus nurture.
I wasn't really nurtured. I started working at a very young age. I had to cook dinner with my little sister. I was paying rent to my mother at 16.
The grit required and resilience needed to make it as an entrepreneur.
I want to tell everyone that's not a way that you should be to really grow a company.
And how she decided to mother her children differently.
If you have passion and you believe in yourself, take risks, don't be afraid. Because if you're afraid, you will never make it.
I'm Rebecca Minkoff, and this is Superwomen. Each week, inspiring women are interviewed to uncover the unexpected journeys, the challenges, and the unwavering spirit that makes them powerful. Get ready to be motivated by stories of resilience and discover the keys to unlocking your own potential. So I'm so excited to have you. I am a fan before knowing you. So when I got the email, I was like, oh my God, she wants to be on my podcast. Because for me, I'll say this. If I don't have a lash on, or if I don't have my own lashes look good, I hate how I look.
Absolutely.
And your product changed my life.
Well, that makes me so happy, Rebecca, because that's the reason I made GrandeLASH, and that was the first product I made because I suffered from postpartum lash loss. And I knew at that moment when it actually worked and the efficacy was there and the safety was there and the last name Grande is real, yeah. I said, this is, like Oprah would say, the aha moment for me to just go for it. Yeah. And that's what I did.
When did you know that this was the product that you were going to do? Were you in the industry? Give me a little bit of a backstory.
Okay, a little bit of a backstory. So I was in the industry. I was in the vitamin industry first, doing radio infomercials and marketing. I used to buy media. And I was always looking for the latest and greatest innovations in vitamins and also cosmetics, skincare. And prior to that, I was a beauty junkie because my mother was a beauty junkie. She sold cosmetics in Macy's, which actually made me be inspired by her. And I started in a booth in a flea market selling cosmetics at age 18. Literally went into the city buying products in wholesale level. And then I would go to upstate New York, Newburgh, and I was selling cosmetics that people didn't really know there because they would say it was cow tipping country. It was great to just show those women how they could feel better about themselves. So even at a young age, I knew that I love selling, I love beauty, but I went to college for business marketing and I wound up working for this radio infomercial company. And then that led me into how I found actually GrandeLASH MD. after that marketing director position I had at the radio infomercial company, I realized that I wanted to start my own company. I left there in 2002, and I started my own company doing radio media buying. And I would do a radio infomercials, which were like podcasts are now, but they were paid. So I would get people to come on my show and talk about their products. And then I was always looking for people to talk to me on the show to fill up the airspace. I would go to different conventions looking for vitamins, skincare, cosmetics, what have you. I went to the Jacob Javits Center in New York City in 2006, going up and down the aisles looking for something like innovative, different that I really thought I could sell on the show and it could be a success. So I ended up meeting a chemist who created a formula that said that it would enhance my own lashes. And this is the story that I'm always telling, and this is it. I mean, I had postpartum lash loss where my lashes were short and puny. And when I was younger, they were so long and lush. So I didn't think that there would be any help for me after, giving birth to 2 children, that I would be able to restore my lashes. Lo and behold, I used the formula that he had.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was transformational, like groundbreaking to me, because I've tried so many things and so many things say that they're going to work and they don't. Yeah. So I was like, oh my God, this works and it's safe. This is great. I got to, like, my last name is Grande. I got to make this for myself. Yes. So I knew. So I spoke to the chemist and I said, listen, I'd like you to make a proprietary formula for me with my last name Grande and call it GrandeLASH. And it took a little while, like we had to go back and forth with contracts, etc. So basically in 2008, by the time it all, really got started, I went to a trade show, and where I met him, I did the same thing.
Yep.
Had a small booth with a Vistaprint roll-up banner, and it was all the way
I know those trade shows.
Exactly. All the way in the back of the end of the aisle, because I was able to negotiate a booth that was normally like $4,000 for around $2,000. And I basically quadrupled my investment that weekend.
Wow.
At the trade show.
Wow.
And I called my husband and I said, Frank, I literally know how I'm going to be so successful. I'm so excited. This is amazing. Everybody loved GrandeLASH.
Yep.
Because it was only one product I was selling then.
Right.
You won't believe this. He was literally leaving the company in finance after 15 years. They fired him as a trader. Okay. Yes. They fired him as a trader. He was taking everything out in a box.
That day that you called him, that's what was happening?
Yes. And I said, Frank, it's going to be okay because I know I'm going to make it. And yeah, I mean, it was hard for him to get his footing back in finance. Actually, it really never happened. And I just went out there to every spa, hair, makeup show that you could imagine in the US and Canada. I left my 2 children with my husband and my Italian mother-in-law, who fed them really well and made sure they did their homework. And I was out and about building the brand little by little, like you. I mean, it didn't happen overnight.
Did not happen overnight. It never does. And we all still think it can. That's the crazy part.
Well, I think the thing is this in this influencer society, and I
Right.
was at a TikTok convention, and you see these stories that someone goes on TikTok live and next thing you know, they're scaling a business. It's amazing that something like that could even happen.
Yeah.
But it's so few and far between that
100%.
that something like that is going to happen. So yeah, I mean, I literally invested $25,000 of my own money that I had. Okay, I didn't grow up with money. I had saved money from working, etc. And I was able to take that money and make a small run. And I was very fortunate that the chemist was allowing me to make a small run of, a minimum quantity. And every trade show that I would go to, I would literally have to make the money that I invested in the show and money to be able to buy more products. So that is the definition of bootstrapped.
That's right.
Yes.
Let's talk about the struggle and the climb and the build. Because before we started recording, you said, I've told my story. We can Google it. But let's get into the part that you want to uncover that doesn't often get talked about.
Yeah, no, and I really wanted to talk about nature versus nurture, and especially like because this is called Superwomen, and I love your book Fearless, and really having come from similar backgrounds. I'm Jewish as well, and even though my last name is Grande, so I had a childhood that was not that easy. And I'm not like crying over it, but my parents were divorced. I had to, work when I was 13. I started working at a very young age. I had to basically help my mother pay bills, even though my father did give us money when my parents were divorced, but it was tough. And I really didn't get much nurturing at all. My mother was working. I had to cook dinner with my little sister. And
Right.
I had to really get thick skin. I mean, even back then, because I'm 55 now, so I was 8 years old. Back then, people weren't getting, families weren't getting divorced like they are now.
Right.
So I got teased for it, believe it or not. No one probably could even believe that now because divorce is so common, but I did. I even had a fourth grade teacher that literally like embarrassed me in front of the class and made me say in front of everyone that my parents were divorced. So I guess I got like thick skin growing up,
Yep.
and I knew that if I wanted something, no one was going to give it to me. Absolutely no one. I mean, I would go see my father in Brooklyn every other weekend and I would say like, oh, I want another pair of sneakers. I give your mother money. You're not getting another pair of sneakers. You're not getting anything. So I was paying rent to my mother at 16.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I don't think a lot of people understand that. And I know for sure my own children do not have that. So even my own sister did not get that. Like, 'cause she was the younger one. Right. So
Right.
so I had to be more of the responsible one,
Right.
which sometimes now is interpreted as like, I feel like my family, my mother and my sister interpreted that as me being cold, right? Because I don't always get affected
Yeah.
so quickly.
But you had to be strong and you had to get thick skin because of everything you went through. So it's not cold. It's just like survival.
It's survival. And I think that survival and that thick skin has allowed me to develop a level of grit that really is something that I was saying nature versus nurture. So that was from the not being nurtured. And now, there's a lot of entitlement I see now with children and people who are in the workforce now. It's really scary to me. Everybody wants everything overnight. They don't want to, not everyone, but I'd say out of 100% of millennials and Gen Alpha and Gen Z, and I might even eliminate millennials off of that
Okay.
because
Let's take them off the list.
I'm going to say Gen Z and Gen Alpha. I'm scared because they don't want to really work that hard. I mean, I overhear all these conversations from them. I was sitting in the Hamptons the other day. I'm listening to a conversation of young people, and for sure they were like Gen Z, and they're saying, "Yeah, we don't work when it's off days." And I want to tell everyone that's not a way that you should be to really grow a company.
Yeah.
And you don't always start off with your own company, but you have to have good work ethic. And I'm scared for America a little bit right now.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that whatever Gen Alpha, like at least the younger set, it's going to switch back. It's like I feel like it ping pongs back and forth, and I'm hoping. I mean, I was curious because you said your children, like, how are you approaching raising your children? Because I have taken the notion of like, you want it, earn it. That was me. Yes, your life is nicer overall because I want the standard,
but when you want me to buy you something, you have to earn it. Like, I'm curious how you've taken that nature versus nurture to your kids.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Rebecca, I'm a little concerned because I wasn't there as much as I wanted to be as a mother. My younger son was 5 and my other one was 8, and I left for like, let's say 40 trade shows a year times 3 days each time. So that's 120 days.
Yeah.
And I was leaving a lot up to my husband, who believed that it was okay for my boys just to do sports and to do their schoolwork. And then my mother-in-law was very nurturing with, what do you want to eat? Da 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 da. So completely different than the way I grew up. And I see them now that, listen, one of them just graduated Syracuse with economics, so bravo for him. And the other one is in Brooklyn Law, and he's 24. He's going into his second year.
Not so bad.
It's not so bad. So they're good. They're good right now, but they still haven't launched, right? So let's see when they launch. But I don't think that we put them in a place where they were ever hungry, right? And I had hunger, and I feel that hunger was what drove me. Like, I heard you were in that little apartment in Florida, right? So it's just that you had to come to New York and be challenged, and
Yeah.
all of that made you who you are. Like,
100%.
yes.
If they would have gotten me the apartment and helped me pay my bills, and like I probably wouldn't have been as hungry.
That nature versus nurture. How do you create hunger, right? And I almost think at this point it's a little late, right? Because we're talking 22 and 24. They have credit cards.
You cut them off.
Yeah.
How do you create the hunger?
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know how well my husband will agree with that. And I love them. And I'm not, a helicopter mom. And I'm not like saying anything bad about people who are really there all the time for their kids. But I agree. They need to sink or swim, right?
Yeah.
So.
Was it hard as a mom? Like, I feel like I obviously speak to a lot of entrepreneurs, and the sacrifices we have to make with missing out on stuff because we're building our career is hard. Like, did you ever have those moments when you were like, oh God?
I mean, like I said, I traveled so much, and it was hard. However, I think it was more hard socially from the other mothers, that I even became alienated from some of the other mothers because they saw me climbing in success.
Yep.
I really felt bad about that. Like,
Yep.
I lost friends over me building a business. Regarding my children, I knew that they were getting what they needed from their father and my mother-in-law. And you have to remember, like I said, I wasn't really nurtured. So I wasn't hurting for them or so much myself. I was really happy that I was building this brand that I was so passionate about. I almost became a robot doing all these shows. It was so exciting making the sales and creating the relationships with the salons and spas and seeing their lash transformations and then their brow transformations and them coming to me with their stories and their pictures. And it didn't get old. It was just so exciting.
Yeah.
And I got to see America by myself a lot. I went alone because I couldn't afford to bring help a lot of the time. In the beginning, I would get someone off Craigslist, and I would bring like 2 huge black bags with rolling duffel bags that people are like in the airport, are you running away, little girl?
What country are you going to?
Exactly.
So when for you do you feel like you saw the light, you saw the success, and you were like, all right, all this work is paying off? Because your company is huge.
Yeah.
When did that flip for you internally? Because I feel like different entrepreneurs interpret success differently.
There was one moment when I was at the Jacob Javits Center in New York, and I was at the International Beauty Show, and I had this woven bag that when people would buy GrandeLASH, it had the eye on it and, lashes on it. And I was standing there, I was getting something to eat, and I was peeking over, and I saw all these fuchsia bags from all these estheticians and beauticians. And I said, wow, wow, I made it.
Yeah.
I made it. And I was still just pro at that point. I wasn't like in Sephora and Ulta. So that was in the early stages. Sephora actually scouted me in 2016. So that was 8 years after just doing trade shows that where I got into prestige retail.
Wow.
I wasn't even really necessarily thinking about it. I was very happy with the pros.
Right. And so taking that step into prestige retail, was that a whole other animal that were you ready for that? Because it sounds like it's a beast.
When Sephora took me, they took me for my lip plumper first, believe it or not, because that was back in 2016 when it was the big Kylie Jenner lip,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Okay,
When
okay.
she didn't do her lips, but she did do her lips. And
Break.
Right, exactly. So anyway, that was that.
You could never get those lips without lip surgery, okay?
Exactly.
Let's
We
be
know
honest.
that. Hello. Anyway, so they wanted my lip plumper, and I said to them, well, wouldn't you want GrandeLASH? Like, this is my hero product, right? It's my number one seller. And back then in 2016, lash serums were not a thing in Sephora. They
Right.
weren't. So they didn't see it as a category. I literally, Rebecca, made the category
Wow.
in prestige retail. Like, it wasn't even there. It wasn't even there. So they put it finally, I had to convince them to put it on .com, and it sold out. Like, they couldn't even believe how fast it was selling out.
Wow.
So they put it in the mascara end cap on the bottom shelf. Like, you'd have to go and find it. And I was like, this is really bad placement. Okay. And then finally, like, they moved me up. And I was on the next big thing in Sephora on the top shelf for, I think it's I don't know, it's a long time now. And I have, I think, around like 14 products on that one shelf. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, it's great. When I was first with Sephora, I did everything and anything to support Sephora. It was so exciting to be, in the red carpet of beauty, right?
Yep.
And I mean, I'm still thrilled with Sephora, and we're international with them. But then I wanted more distribution because I wasn't necessarily exclusive with Sephora. So I was going after Ulta. They were saying no. And then I met like a buyer at a trade show in Italy at some convention where we were cocktail convention. And I just went right up to him. I saw his badge.
Yep.
And I introduced myself and
Isn't it
hounded.
the best when they wear the badges because you can be so precise
Yes.
about who you're talking to.
Yes. Was really happy to get that distribution. So like you said, how you staple your cards and you keep your contacts, it's really important. You never know when you're going to need them. And it wasn't easy to convince Ulta, but it's been a good relationship. And yeah, I mean, my biggest retailers are Amazon, Sephora, and Ulta.
So when you get to this next level, I think the perception is now it's easy. But I almost feel like staying where you are and having all these other like new brands popping up every day.
Oh, yes.
How do you stay relevant and how do you stay successful?
I love that question because I've never seen so many new companies coming into the lash and brow serum category. It's getting to be what was a nothing, category is now becoming crowded and confusing.
Yes.
So
very confusing.
Very
just want to say that.
Yeah, very, very confusing. And actually, there's a lot of dupes that are not even legit with their ingredient list, and they're always trying to take stabs at my product
Yep.
and say bad things about my products that are not true.
Right.
Okay, because we have 10 safety and efficacy studies to actually prove out that the product is safe and it works. But what do? We're like constantly marketing and protecting our number one lash and brow serum badge. Like that is defined by Circana, which is actually an industry, they read the industry of prestige retail, and we've been the number one, and it's really important for me to maintain that. So that's one of the things we do. We do a lot of marketing through digital marketing. We do a lot of social media events, and we're always engaging, and just being taking risks with influencer events, just going live tomorrow. I'm going live for Amazon Prime Day for 2 hours. You just got to do it, not be scared.
It still sounds like you are still scrappy. Like you're still in it in a way that some founders might not be. Like I'm definitely in it and I'm scrappy. But some people are like, no, I don't have to do that anymore.
Well, I know as I was listening to your book at 2022, you got bought out, right? So did I in 2020. don't know, that's not like really that public. But I stayed on as founder and CEO because this Grande Cosmetics is who I am. I will not abandon it.
Yeah.
And my customers are who I love. But it's changed the dynamic a little bit when now you have other people to answer to. Being scrappy and making decisions like just snappy and gritty is not, you can't always just do what you want to do.
I know.
I know.
I want to cry about it.
I know. But, you know, when I did do the sale, and I heard you talk about EBITDA, right? When I did do the sale, when I made the company, I never thought about that you could I didn't even know you could sell a company. I'd never thought about that. I just knew about beauty and products that I loved. I was a beauty junkie, you know? So my husband had cancer, colon cancer, stage 4. It was really bad.
This is while you're trying to sell the company.
Yes, I had the 3 C's: COVID, cancer, and closing on the biggest deal of my life. Right? It was quite stressful, and you know, like I needed to be like fearless, armored up, and nothing could get through to break me because everything was always coming at me.
Right.
And then I had to maintain a productive company and keep the people motivated. And, you know, still to this day, I you know, thank God I have with me my president, Dina Bruckman, who's been with me for 15 years. And she's really inside the company on a daily, dealing with the people. And I'm there for the people, but I'm not as tactical with the directors, let's say, like I used to be.
Yeah.
I'm more like with the C-level people, the leadership, the C-suite.
Yeah.
So, but I still talk to the directors. I mean, yes.
Yeah, you're just not in the day-to-day directing them like you were before.
Right. And I'm not always agreeing with what my CMO or my COO or my CEO or my senior vice president of sales is doing. So I am along the way still gut checking everyone.
Yeah.
And when I don't know what's going on and I have to hear it after, that really makes me mad.
Same. Same. How did you not break during the 3 C's?
I almost did, because on top of the 3 C's, I had to actually be my husband's nurse and deal with all of his wounds, and I had to clean them. Again, I think it's that nature versus nurture thing, like not being nurtured and having to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
Like you have to feed yourself. You have to take care. You want shoes, you got to go work for those shoes. So it's a different skin. Then it's tough.
Right.
You know, and again, could sometimes be looked at as is that you're cold, but it's resiliency. And I don't think that, I wish I could teach people to be that way. And I don't know
if it can be taught. That was going to be my next question. If someone's listening to this and they're like, wow, I was really nurtured. How do I get grit? It's kind of like you got to go work in the mailroom at a big agency or something. You know, you got to start at the bottom of somewhere.
You have to start at the bottom. I mean, and it was hard. And I did a lot of bottom, jobs that were horrible. But you just need to work hard, and you need to be able to challenge yourself. You need to be able to engage with people and step outside of your comfort zone, I think, and just always be in the moment and not let things wait. To be successful, like for me, if I know I need something done, like I'm doing it, like right that second, like I can't wait.
Yeah.
I don't expect that many people could be like that.
Yeah.
It drives my husband crazy.
Right.
He's like, you just can't stop. I'm like, that's why I'm like this, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
with the spectrum of people I've interviewed, there's the ones that the goal and the motivation is build, sell, rest, relax, or build, sell, build, sell. Very few are like, I'm going to build, sell, and stay. So like we're both doing that.
Yeah, we're a little strange, right?
We're a little strange. What keeps you?
Well, it has your name on it.
It has my name on it.
It has my name on it.
So is that our motivation here?
It's part of it. It's our baby.
Yeah.
It's like a third child, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Like you feel like you just can't let go.
Yeah.
I mean, I invested actually in this woman who I love. She's in the Hamptons, a Pilates studio. I knew she had it. She had the grit. She had the vision. She had the experience. That's something that I would like to do, is invest in women-founded businesses for people who really understand that they're not going to get paid right away, and they have to work hard. Okay? I saw her Saturday at the studio. She was checking people in, doing the Pilates reformer class, cleaning up, and then doing it again. That's who I want.
What is a piece of advice that you learned the hard way that you'd like to pass on?
Okay, I'm going to give you a piece of advice, because if you are trying to start a company and you need to make sure that you negotiate prices with your manufacturers and get it in writing, that happened to me, and that was the hard way. I learned the hard way, where they raised the prices on me and I had to actually abandon that company because I couldn't make profit. So, piece of advice, get everything in writing.
Smart. And are you still with the chemist, the little chemist man?
The little chemist man is, yes, he's not doing it anymore. Actually, the company that acquired Grande acquired the laboratory.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're vertically integrated, which is great.
Wow.
And I've been working with his daughter for many, many years. And
it's incredible that you've had that partnership and been able to like stay. You know, most people will leave their manufacturer and go for the bigger fish or whatever, but you've been able to stay the course.
I mean, when the juice is good and it works and it's, you know, I didn't want to change. I'm not going to say I never looked for backup manufacturers because I was afraid of the God forbid, right? But I wouldn't have pulled the plug.
Right.
Unless I had to.
Yeah. Well, we know where we can get this. We can get it at Sephora, Ulta. Where do you want people to go? Amazon?
Amazon, yes. Grande Cosmetics, of course. Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to leave my listeners with?
If you have passion and you believe in yourself, be fearless, like Rebecca says. Take risks and take the challenge. Don't be afraid. Because if you're afraid, you will never make it. I promise you that. And take every opportunity to engage with people. Don't think that you're going to meet that person later, because they won't be there. So do it in the moment. Be in the moment.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome so much.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you've enjoyed it, take a second to rate and review the show wherever you're tuning in. It really helps others find the podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at Rebecca Minkoff and at RM Superwomen, or for a slice into my personal life at Becky Minkoff. And don't forget to check out my book, Fearless, The New Rules for Unlocking Creativity, Courage, and Success. See you next week.